everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in to today's special video. I've got with me a new friend, Carolanne, who has humbly agreed to share her story with us today. So Carolanne, I truly believe that God had us meet for a reason recently on the sidewalk, and thank you so much for being with me today.
Oh, no problem. My pleasure.
Great. Well, since we're having a bit more of a heavy conversation, I wanted to start off with more of a fun, lighthearted question. So, if you could relive one day from your entire life, what would it be?
I think it would be having my son Joey. I had a very, very hard pregnancy, but in the end, everything turned out fine. He was wonderful, and he's grown up to be such a charming young man, and I love him dearly. When he was born, I had a nervous breakdown. I guess thinking so much about, seeing my baby every day, and then leaving the hospital without him like my mother did.
Right.
And signing the adoption papers because she seen me every day, fed me every day, bathed me every day, and then was able to give me up. It must have been very difficult for her.
Put you in her shoes.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's what the problem was.
Right.
Yeah.
So then, is it true what they say that when you give birth, you forget about all the pain once the baby arrives?
Well, there was a lot of pain and a lot of stitches.
But you'd still relive the day.
Oh, I would, in a heartbeat, because he's so worth it,
Awesome.
Worth every pain.
Cool. So starting from the very beginning, what were the circumstances of your being adopted?
Well, my mother was only 19 years old when she got pregnant for me, and in 1960 that was sort of a taboo kind of thing, And she moved away from home and moved in with her older brother and sister-in-law, and they lived with her sister-in-law's parents. And when she conceived me, it was very difficult, and it was something she never discussed with me, and I felt very bad because she must have felt so bad that she couldn't share with me, and we were so very close. She came to live with me.
Right. Yeah. That's amazing. So then tell us about how old you were when you were adopted and about your adoptive family.
Okay. I was 7 months old because in 1960 they still gave the birth mothers 6 months within to change their minds.
Sure.
So you went into foster care for 6 months, and I was adopted at 7 months. I went right to my parents then. They were like the best. I couldn't have picked better parents if I'd have picked them myself. They were so good to me.
Good. And now growing up, did you feel that you belonged in your adoptive family?
Yes.
Good.
I did. They had a biological daughter of their own who was 8 years older than myself, and we were always treated equally.
Right.
And we were just always both their daughters.
Now, to your knowledge, oh, I'm sorry, wrong question. You've told me as an adult that you searched for your birth mom because you didn't know her through your childhood.
Right.
So tell us about how you found her and what that was like the first time you met her.
Well, I started out by, it took a very long time, a whole full year, full-time searching. I had the aid of the CAS. I belonged to Parent Finders in Hamilton, and I had a social worker from CAS and Simcoe who was very caring and supportive and helped me so much through it.
That's awesome.
She was very good, and my mom was one of 10 children, mostly girls, 2 boys, and it's the boys you follow. Like I sent away for directory pages for St. Catherine's because I knew I was born in St. Catherine's.
Sure.
And I went 2 years prior to my adoption following the directory pages. And it ended up that I followed her older brother because she disappeared out of the directory pages. and he stayed in the pages, and so did my mom's sister-in-law. So I followed them for many, many years in the directory pages, and I ended up having, well, Parent Finders makes the initial call,
Okay.
so that if the lady says blah, 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 and screams and
Right.
hangs up on you,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't feel so bad, right?
That makes sense.
So, the lady from Parent Finders, she called my aunt, and my aunt said, oh yes, I can help you, no problem. And she called one of my other aunts, my mom's sister, who had taken in my brother and sister as young children.
Okay.
And she knew that my aunt could help her to find my birth mom. So that second aunt called my mother, made arrangements for a day and a time for me to call her.
Wow.
So the day I called her was very emotional. We were both crying at both ends of the phone.
I bet.
And but it was really nice, you know. I had a whole list of questions I wanted to ask her, and she had some to ask me as well.
Right.
And she was most wondering if I had a good life, and if my parents were good people and treated me well.
Wow.
And my birth mom moved 10 times in 12 years.
Oh,
So she was very hard to locate. So anyways, we did find her in Calgary, Alberta. After many calls back and forth, after the initial one, she set up a time that she was going to come that Easter to meet me. So I was very blessed. I had a brother and a sister as well, and that was just great, just great. So my mom also hadn't seen them in many years either, like almost 40 years. Excuse me. And so now my brother didn't see her when she came home, and I don't believe my sister did the first time. They had a lot of hard feelings because she had left them as small children.
Okay.
And but I mean, she did what she felt was right for them at the time. And their dad looked after them as long as he could, and then he put them in foster care. In 1960, back that era, if you were in foster care more than 2 years, you were adoption material.
Okay.
So anyways, he went and talked to my aunt and uncle, and they agreed that they would took my sister and brother in.
Oh, okay.
And you know, look after them as long as they could until the father got sorted out.
Okay.
So anyways, they stayed there, and I met my mom, and it was pretty exciting. It was pretty. I was really stressed out at the airport. My aunt and uncle took me to the airport. And,
right.
oh my gosh, it was just unreal. You know, seeing her coming down the moving stairs, and you know it's her, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Was there an immediate connection or any awkwardness?
Oh yeah, no, there was like, oh my god, like we looked a lot alike.
Right.
And she said, I would know you were my daughter anywhere. I might not have known she was my mother anywhere, because she came, of course, from Calgary, so she had the sleeves with the fringe and cowboy boots, and I would never wear anything like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, we had good laughs about that stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So going back to when she was first pregnant, to your knowledge, had your birth mom ever been encouraged or offered an abortion at all?
My mom always told me that her father told her that if her or any of the other girls in the family got pregnant, that he had pills in his drawer that would abort the baby.
Okay.
It is then when she moved to be with her older brother and sister-in-law. So I believe that's why she moved out, probably.
Right, she didn't want to do that.
No, it wasn't for her.
Sadly, that's not uncommon, that parents selfishly encourage their children to do that. So, on another note, what did it mean to you that your birth mother chose life when she was encouraged not to do so?
Well, due to the fact that I had such great, amazing parents, adopted parents, I was so grateful that she had the guts to carry me the full term, and she said that she had a lot of abuse, like a lot of people yelling things at her, and because she was a single person pregnant.
Wow.
And in 1960, that was really
Yeah.
unheard of, eh?
Sure.
And she said she was always scared that her dad would find out that she was pregnant and come and hurt her, eh? Or make sure that I was aborted. Wow. I mean, I went through lots of hard times when all I could think about was how she must have felt.
Right.
You know, carrying a baby in 1960, you know, when it was a taboo thing, and how hard it must have been, and to leave home and leave her other siblings. But she went with her older brother and sister-in-law, and they lived with her parents.
Okay.
And her parents always treated my mom like gold.
Wow.
And when my mom was about to give birth to me, her mother went with my mom, stayed with her the whole way through.
Awesome.
She was so kind to her, and my mom said that they sat there and they prayed together in the delivery room and held hands, and my aunt's parents were just such nice people.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It was the mother figure she needed, it sounds
It
like.
was.
Yeah.
It was.
Wonderful. So now that you've told me that later in life you went on to foster for a number of years, so could you just tell us, if you could say one thing to someone who's watching, who's maybe considering fostering or adopting through the Children's Aid Society, but is hesitant or maybe scared of the unknown, what would you say to them?
Well, my ex-husband and I, we fostered for over 10 years. We had some very good ones, and we had some that were very, very tough. Like we had a couple of teenagers that were very hard to let go of because they were very nice girls, and they were somebody you could help and wanted the help, and they were thankful for what you did for them. But in this day and age, I don't know that I would foster, because the laws have changed so much that you can't raise them like you would raise your own child. Just example, with a teenager, I mean, if they were crying, I want to hug them and say, like, what can I do to help you?
Yeah.
Where now you have to ask, because that can be a form of abuse, and they can report you for that kind of thing. And I don't know that I could be able to stop myself from trying to comfort somebody that was not up to par, I guess.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So did you find that the reward of foster care and the importance of it overall outweighed the hardships that you went through?
Or
do you regret it at all?
No, I have no regrets that we did it, because we learned a lot. Yeah. We learned how the other half of society lives. Like, you take for granted how you're raised and just think everybody else is raised that way. Absolutely. And in turn they're not. Yeah. And I still have contact with two of them.
That's amazing.
The one girl came to visit me. She just had a baby. Wow. And she was so excited. She wanted to show me, and you know, it was just fantastic to see her. And she's now moved out west, but her parents still live here, so she still comes home frequent. And she always calls me if she doesn't come to see me.
Cool.
you know, and she still calls my son her brother.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So special.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
So you have a lot of good memories,
yeah.
and yes, they outweigh the bad. You know, like I said, we had some that were very young and had gone through such abuse that you just couldn't even imagine. You know, like just frightened of their own shadow.
Wow. And they
So
needed you so desperately
yeah.
in that time. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So, Carolanne, I just have to say you are truly a picture of human life, fearfully and wonderfully made by God behind every hard circumstance. And I really believe that your story is going to impact many. So thank you so much again for coming and sharing with me today.
Oh, you are so welcome, and I believe God made us meet for a reason.
That's right.
Because
Absolutely.
I just took to you right away, and your baby as well. Oh my
Thank you
gosh.
so much. Oh, it's been a pleasure.
Oh, thank you very much.